Good afternoon and welcome back to the homestead. We're going to do an unboxing today on a new tool that we've purchased. We've been doing a few more electrical installs and driving ground rods. Well, my electrician's helper doesn't like running the sledgehammer and driving ground rods, so I've decided to buy her a new tool to make that go a little easier. And we occasionally have to drill through concrete and yada yada yada. So we're going to get this unboxed and we'll show you what it is. The box. That appears to be what it is. All right, so there it is. We'll go ahead and unbox it here in just a second, but it is a Milwaukee M18 Rotary Hammer drill. This particular one is the 2718-21HD. They had a couple models of the SDS Max, and when you're looking at rotary hammers, you have a few options, more than a few I suppose, but you have an SDS Plus, which drills up to a certain size hole, and you have an SDS Max, which is the big one. And if you want to drill, like we want to be able to core 2.5, 3-inch holes through concrete walls for running conduit through the concrete walls for service entrances and whatnot. Actually might even build a T-post driver for this, but that's another video. So we went with the SDS Max, and when you get into the SDS Max, then you have a few options. You can do the cordless, which is what we did. You can buy corded rotary hammers. A lot of our job sites tend not to have power yet because we're there putting a service in. So rather than lugging a generator, we have vested heavily into the Milwaukee M18 line. We have job site lighting, we have sawzalls, skill saws, drills, hammer drills, impacts. Probably forgetting something there, but we have a lot of stuff in the M18 line. So we decided to go the cordless. And when you go to the cordless route, you have a couple options with the SDS Max. They have an older model, I believe it's I think it's 2717, but don't quote me on that. And then they have the 2718. The 2717 is a little less power, has a few less features. The 2718 has what they call one key, where you can connect it to your phone with Bluetooth. We don't really care about that, but we may try to do that and show you that in an upcoming video. So let's unbox this and show you what's in the box. We've already ripped some of the box apart here. So UPS is actually pretty gentle on it. So and it's fairly heavy. I'm not sure if it says on the box its weight, but I want to say it's around 35 pounds, maybe 40 pounds. So, but you want it to be heavy because you're drilling concrete, you're driving ground rods, you want the weight to be able to work for you. So I'm going to probably step around to the side here so I can see what you're seeing. Nice heavy rugged case with the carrying handle, so that's nice. We'll be able to keep it in its case. Got your owner's manuals, fairly typical layout of Milwaukee. You got your battery charger here, and this is a rapid charger. Because this is a big battery, they ship it with the rapid charger. My first impression of this is it's actually quite small. I was expecting this rapid charger to be bigger. If you kind of walk with me, I will show you what I mean. So let me take this battery out for size comparison. But there's a standard charger, and there's a rapid charger. It's the same footprint, but a little more rounded off corners, a little more, you know, small, quiet. Actually, I'm going to bring that battery with me. So we'll leave the rapid charger right there. You've seen that. I'm going to bring this battery and this battery with me because I want to do a comparison later. So you have your marketing material from Milwaukee. You have high performance grease. So it has a picture of the drill bit and it shows you putting it on the drill bit. So they apparently want you to put a little bit of this on the drill bit every now and then. We'll have to read up on that. And then you have the drill. So, like I said, definitely heavy. So we'll get you a shot that way first. There's a handle here, knob here. Loosen that knob up and we can turn the handle into whatever position we want. I did notice the handle turns, so I guess you can take the handle off too. You'll notice there the handle's turning. So I can spin the handle off if I didn't want it on there. This isn't going to come off over the nose of this because of your collar. So we got that. We have the 12 amp hour red lithium HD battery. And this is why I brought these other ones over. I'm not sure I can do a fair comparison on size. But there is a CP 2.0 red lithium, an XC 6.0, and an HD 12.0. But the nice thing about Milwaukee, and they've done a great job with the M18 line, I believe, in that all of the batteries are interchangeable. So we could put this 2.0 into our rotary hammer, and it would run for a minute. I wouldn't run it that way just because it's not a very big battery and there's no sense in punishing everything. I would recommend using the 12, or in a pinch if you had to finish something up, the 6.0. You know, that's gonna run your rotary hammer. One of the nice things it has is if you've ever run the Hilti brand, the corded Hilti brand, you know, there's a lot of vibration in your body by the time you're done. This one has a shock mounted handle, so you lose that vibration. And the battery is also in kind of like a shock mounted assembly so that you don't damage the contacts. Other than that, it's pretty comparable to a common Hilti style or other brand, Bosch, whatever brand you might get. It's got the knob on the top. I can't really show you what it does because I don't have a chisel here, but the knob, if Sue zooms in, I think you can see it. There's a picture of a hammer and a drill bit down in there. And I can turn that knob to what looks like a picture of a chisel with the circle around it. And then I can turn it around here to just hammer. So when it's in just hammer, it's just what it says. It's just hammering for chiseling, chipping, whatever the case may be. When it's in hammer and drill, it's going to hammer and spin at the same time for like drilling holes in concrete. So what this point here does, this chisel with the circle around it, it lets you turn your chisel. So if you're wanting to do like chiseling up ceramic tile, for example, and you find holding the drill like this is the easiest for you, you can turn that chisel to the angle you want, and then put it in hammer, and it locks the chisel in that orientation. So you can do that with it. Other than that, first impressions are it's real high quality. It's a metal top, high density plastic. It's got a little LED work light on it. Not sure how important that is. Like I said, we'll play with the 1 key. We do have a ground rod driver. I will stay right there. I'll be right back. Don't need to make you seasick. Chase me around. So we have a service to install this weekend. So one of our first purchases was a ground rod driver. You basically pull this thing back, get that turned in there. It's supposed to fit. Okay, the two little things go down. There you go. First time using it. This is, actually let me take you out and show you that. So when you're looking at rotary hammers, the style, you know, this one, like I said, being SDS Max, what that's explaining to you is this piece of the bit right here. So when you go to the store and say, I need an 1.5 inch bit for my hammer drill, they're going to ask you, what style drive is it? And this one happens to be SDS Max, and I don't know if Sue's going to be able to see this well, but there's a slot cut in the top, and there's 2 slots cut in the bottom that are a little narrower, and then you have the pockets in the side. So why I was having trouble getting that in there is this only goes in exactly one way. Those 2 slots have to go line up with the pins in the bottom and this one on the top and get that in there. So it took me a little bit of diligent fiddling to get that in there, but I suspect that now that I've done it, I know that those go down like that and drops right in. So you would put that in there, and now what you do is you just, you know, climb up the step ladder, of course, set that on top of your ground rod in hammer only, and that's going to drive your ground rod down the ground for you. So we'll bring you along and show you doing that. We'll show you driving the ground rod, and then we'll drill a couple test holes, maybe in a piece of concrete. We got some concrete blocks out back, some solid concrete blocks left over from when we poured the floor. Maybe we'll drill a hole in one of those and show you how it drills a hole as well. You know, at the end of the day, what we're really curious to find out is how much battery it's going to take to drive 2 8-foot ground rods, because around here that's what we're required to do by our utility, and that's kind of what we bought this for in general. So what we may do is buy another one of these, and you'll notice that has like about a 3/4 inch hole in it. We may buy another one of these and have a machine shop make us a collar for that that's like 1.5 inches instead of 3/4 hole, and we'll cut and weld it together. We may try using it for driving T-posts. I've kind of done some Google searching. They don't actually make an attachment for it, but I really can't see why it wouldn't drive a T-post pretty good in our soil around here. And we have to drive a fair amount of T-posts. So anyway, that's my review. So far I'm impressed. Haven't used it yet, so you know, we'll bring you along for that. So let's go jump in the truck and let's go to the job site and see if we can drive a couple ground rods. All right, so the first test, we're going to try driving some ground rods with this. We are in New England, the ground is frozen. I don't know exactly how much frost, so it'll be interesting to see just how this goes compared to driving with a sledgehammer. So Sue's going to do some videoing, I'm going to climb up the ladder, and we're going to see if we can get this thing in the ground. And we've precariously placed the ladder in the ground rod for your viewing pleasure to keep the sun on the right side of you. I would probably work on my other side if it wasn't for the camera. As you can see, that was about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, plus me rambling in the beginning. You saw there in the beginning, I think there's about a foot of frost in the ground, and you saw how slow it went in the beginning. Then you notice it slowed down every now and then. If you look in the bank here, this is real rocky soil. So what happens is the ground rod will hit one of those rocks, and it has to bend off a little bit around it. And if you was beating it with a sledgehammer, I can tell you from experience, we'd have probably been an hour, hour and a half getting these 2 ground rods in. So we've drove 2 ground rods, and well, why is it not going to tell me how much battery I have left? I don't know if you can see that. We've used half of the battery driving 2 ground rods. And 2 of those ground, like I said, there's about a foot of frost. So I would say under normal conditions, we've used about half as much battery as we normally would. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and grab a drill bit and let's drill a hole through some concrete. So hold on while we get you set up for that. Amazon. I really need to learn to read descriptions. I wanted an 1.25 inch bit for putting in T-posts, because around here we have a little ledge. So I'm like, well, I'll get an 1.25 inch bit. That way I can drill down into the ledge a foot. I guess I ordered a 3-foot long 1.5 bit. Oh well. So we're going to try it. We have these blocks of concrete here that we poured when we did part of the house. So we're going to try drilling a hole through one and just see how it drills. I do believe that's true. Let me pick that up and show you. We have a hole. Took us like maybe a minute to go through that. That's pretty good. So, I ordered one other thing. I ordered a set of chisels for it. And we got a spot out in the driveway where the bedrock is sticking up out of the driveway. And we hit it with a plow every year. So why don't we go get a chisel and get an excavator and see what we can do. So why don't we get some tools and we'll be right back. So as you can see, it's pretty hard. So I'm curious to see just how this thing does trying to break up that little ledge nut. If it's not stuck in the driveway. So you can see it actually does pretty good. I mean, it's not terribly fast, but it's a small bit. It's not a hydraulic hammer on the excavator, but you know, I bet another 2 or 3 minutes and we can get rid of this little spot here in the driveway. So overall, we're really happy with our investment. It worked really well in the ground rods, and you saw how quick it drilled through concrete. So I think it's going to be a good addition to our arsenal when it comes to doing electrical work and whatnot. All right, so we went until the battery ran dead. I think we got probably, what do you figure, about 8 to 10 minutes of runtime on that battery.
Yeah, probably about that.
Goes to about what we saw yesterday on the ground rod with 4 minutes per ground rod. So we're pretty happy with it. It's well below the ground. We won't catch the truck on it. I'm going to rake it up a little bit more with the excavator and then flatten it out. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.